Okay, we're going to give this another shot. Um, I've been fighting with failed recordings here for a couple days, and I'm just going to re-record the video. This is a Google Scholar walkthrough, and I just wanted to show you guys how I conduct a Google search using Google Scholar. Uh, Google Scholar is a very useful tool in that it offers us a lot of flexibility in how we look up information and how we track research. So the thing we're going to start with is Edmund 1992. For those of you who are obsessive compulsive, you may have noticed that in the chapter last week there was, or in the readings in the other class last week, actually, for the two of you that are in there, um, there was a book of tactile graphics by a gentleman by the name of Edmund back in 1992. And if you just put in a last name and the year of the publication, which is what APA style citations always yield, you will find that you can find an article pretty quickly. Now, the first one hit is actually not the right hit. The second one is the book on tactile graphics by P. Edmund, and it's actually there on Google Books. And if you've never used Google Books, they've got an option to get a print book, and then they'll show you excerpts from the book, but they won't show you the whole book. Like if you click over to like a place in the chapter where there's nothing, it'll just be like it jumps around. So that's not normally incredibly useful. I mean, you may get crazy lucky and get the one sentence you need or something, but that's not what we're looking at. It a lot of times it will include the table of contents though, which is incredibly useful sometimes to know that things. I'm sorry, Polly, not he, Polly, and Carl Augusto, who was the most recently a president of AFB, I believe. So we're going to back up here because what I want to show you guys is favorites. So you can favorite things in here so that you can come back and click on my library and you will see favorited articles. So that's kind of useful so that you lose things, right? And we know where things are. You can keep track of things and kind of organize a library. But even better, going one step better, you can get citations. Do be careful. These citations are not always accurate, so always check the typing and the information from the actual article when you get it. Although, I generally grab a lot of my citations this way. It's not that I know how to do them. It's just I don't feel like typing all of that out if I can cut and paste. Um, but the really exciting thing about Google Scholar is this thing right next to the quotation called cited by. And this one has a 291. The related article is kind of nifty too, but the cited by really is where I put my money. Because if I click cited by, I will get a list of all 291 articles that have been published that actually cited or quoted this article. Crazy fun. Now, 1992 is a pretty long time. So I'm going to click since 2014 because I want to see what's going on lately in tactile graphics, with that being kind of a foundational book. And, you get some good, you get some bad. I'm not going to say everything's a gold mine that comes out of this because sometimes we cite really tangential stuff when we write research. So do be ready to do some thinking and combing. Um, Searching through articles is a time-consuming process. It takes a serious investment. I can tell you that for my dissertation, there was one section where I needed to find 3 relevant articles and give kind of a annotation, lit review of them. And frequently when I'm looking for a specific thing that I know I read somewhere, or I know is out there, or maybe I've made an official statement and I'm just hoping to God I'm not the first one to say it. Because although that sounds really cool when you're young and new to research, you're like, I came up with a novel idea. Um, then you realize that like you have to support that idea with hundreds of pages of rationales and everything else. And it's so much nicer to be able to someone who's way smarter than you, has an established career, and you can go, look at him, he agrees with me. That's kind of the way academics work. here we go. We're kind of look down the list. Oh, I was saying that when I do my own research, to find 3 good references could take anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. I'm not joking. Um, and I will read generally 3 or 4 articles that are just misses before I find that one where someone has a similar idea or the thing I'm trying to explain is there in a material way. I'm not going to say that some academics aren't lazy about it, but yeah, when you're doing heavy hitting stuff, you need to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. So this first article is opportunities and challenges for data physicalization. It's kind of into data fabrication, tangible interfaces, shape-changing displays, kind of ways of representing data in graphs and things like that. So kind of interesting. I'm gonna favorite that for later. And probably, I generally can't help myself. I'm gonna hit that article, gonna grab it real quick and download it and tuck it in a folder for later, because yeah, I can't help myself. And I'm gonna, yep, put it right in there. You get bad habits. So looking at the next one, interactivity improves usability of geographic maps, unbalanced chemical equation conversion. So doing chemical equations, that's kind of crazy. Designing haptic assistive technology for individuals who are blind or visually impaired. Now, this is something I actually am really interested in. I actually once presented a computer science dissertation at a conference on the subject because the author couldn't go there. So that kind of sounds interesting. But there's no article. There's no PDF there. You'll see a lot of these have PDFs that Google has gotten a link to an open source PDF. That's not really true of all articles out there. This one does not have a PDF. And yes, you guessed it, I did this on purpose. So we need to go looking for it. So we're going to look at the citation, and we're going to look at who published it. And this was in the IEEE Transactions on Haptics. So that's a journal. And this is when we come back to nccu.edu, and we go to our Shepherd library. Library. And because you are a student at a university and you've got your EOL login, you need to be logged in. You can go out here and just look for a specific journal that has something you want. And here we have all the I's in the journal directory. And there's a lot of IEs, so I'm gonna go here. See how lucky I am. Hey, I hit it. Because had I gone here, I'd have IEE electrical installation. But over here was transactions on evolutionary computation, transactions on fuzzy systems, transactions on games. And here we see IEE stands for Institute of Electronics Engineers. So these are computer engineers. We're going to go back to our citation, and it said transactions on haptics. So we want to be in the H's. Nice. Oh, there it is. Transactions on haptics. Multiple icons, a computer one, a mail one, and a car one in other libraries for delivery, or you can get it online. We click the online and we see that they have all the articles since 2008. You might remember that the one I looked up was circa 2014 or sooner. So 2015, I'm a happy guy because they've got this journal. I click in, it's going to give me the whole journal. And of course, it's going to ask me to sign in because they're like, we need to check. We need to make sure you're legit. And that's a good thing because that means up here in the middle of the screen, we have the NCCU Libraries access, which means we're going to actually be able to download something. Now, the author was Pawluk, Pawluk. Hopefully they didn't write a lot that year. Pollock 2015. Getting more than one article published in a year, that makes you a heavy hitter. So like maybe they did, but probably not. Oh, looks like they're a heavy hitter. Published 2 articles that year. An editorial was one of them. But the other one, sure enough, is our haptics one. So if you weren't signed in through NCCU, you would not have this PDF option. So when you clicked there, you would not get the article, which you can then download. And I already have. I've tucked this one away already. Now, the lecture for next week / this week, because it's now recorded and posted, we go into how to read an article, and I talk about how different articles are written. This is actually a theoretical article, and it's interesting, at least to me, because it is literally an electrical engineer talking about the design of haptics, and it's a computer person, right? An engineer talking about what we do. So it's really fascinating to see what they know and think about our line of work, at least to me, because these people are always trying to solve problems, and sometimes they try to solve ours without calling us, which is another interesting thing. If you go to the end of the article and you look at their lit review, you'll see a few references to JVIB, but not a lot. So apparently these people have been talking a lot about stuff we do for years and years and years without calling us. There's an AFB reference, but yeah, it's wild. So that's useful, right? The Google Scholar gets us halfway there. Our libraries get us the rest of the way. Good. You guys may have already known that. The real fun is looking at other articles then that were cited by that person. 12 people quoted that one. And you can kind of go down a research line, finding out a lot of stuff about what is going on. I call it going down the rabbit hole, like using a mobility application to help visually impaired individuals explore the outdoors. I'm actually working on something related to that. Interesting. What is this published in? This is published in Advances in Design for Inclusion. Never heard of it. So you can, by just going through this stuff, you can dig in to a topic and really explore it in a way that, you may never have been able to do. In a library, you could have done it for a long time, but there's a good chance you would have missed something. So it's really powerful, and you can kind of find the things you can hunt. It's really powerful, but also at times it can help you like find things that you really want to find. Oops, my video crashed out. Common thing happening these days, except right now I'm at home on my super powerful Wi-Fi and my super powerful computer. So that should not be happening. Where was that article now? Explore the outdoors. Citation. Advances in Design for Inclusion. Advances in meteorology. There's a lot of things in ADV. In Design for Inclusion. It does not look like we have this access to a catalog quick search. Not found. So it looks like I'm going to have to wait on that article, although I really don't want to. So this is an article that I will probably have to go to the library and order from another library in order to get it. Or I'm going to have to go to the actual website and buy it, God forbid. But those things happen as well. to buy the PDF of this costs $30. Not even joking. It's a Springer link, but you don't want to have to do that too much. It is an option sometimes. For my dissertation, I had to order 2 dissertations. One came from Germany, Dr. Galen Kapperman's, because he didn't have a copy of it. And the other one, I can't remember. I think I got it from Austin, Texas. That was Phil Hatlin's dissertation. And I had to wait, and they sent me like the book, the real book of their dissertation from when they graduated on loan. You can get this stuff. Your librarians are your friends when it comes down to that. But feel free to do some exploring. Look for things. You think you found it. You think you found that one or that two. Scroll over to 2 more windows and just look over the titles. Google does not prioritize its findings based upon what you want. It bases it on whatever algorithm it happens to have. So scrolling around and looking at stuff can be really powerful. 4 readers, 335 downloaders. I'm just fascinated by this paper because, well, we'll talk more about it later. So this is a quick hit on how to do a Google Scholar search. Say that 5 times fast. And I will be posting this link up shortly so that you guys have it. I'm sorry it wasn't at the end of the week too. Yeah, it's just acting